FBI Director Kash Patel gave one of the most disgusting displays I've ever seen last night by going on Don Jr.'s coked up show. Just look at his eyes right here. And Kash Patel sits there and helps Don Jr. float conspiracy theories about the January 6th pipe bomber that was just caught yesterday. Well, as a matter of fact, we just got more information after this podcast that the January 6th pipe bomber suspect made stunning pro-Trump confessions to the feds. He's made multiple pro-Trump comments and was pro-Trump in the past. Kash Patel conveniently did not mention that, has not said anything about that publicly, and instead would rather go on Don Jr.'s show and help him spread dangerous disinformation. This is all coming at a time when Kash Patel's job is in a lot of peril. It's in a lot of trouble because Donald Trump has reportedly been thinking about firing him. And while that was happening, we got more and more headlines about Kash Patel essentially misusing taxpayer funds and FBI resources. A new headline today. There's a new headline every day. It says, Kash Patel used FBI as Uber for his girlfriend's drunk friend. They went out, they got drunk, and Kash Patel then essentially Ubers home his girlfriend's friends, uses SWAT teams to give his girlfriend security, flies around in government jets. Insane corruption. A new report reveals how Kash Patel and his 27-year-old girlfriend are using the FBI for their own personal errands. FBI Director Kash Patel has on more than one occasion ordered that the security detail protecting his girlfriend escort one of her allegedly inebriated friends home after a night of partying in Nashville. Dude, I pay taxes for other FBI resources are being used for party nights in Nashville to escort people home? Number one, why does this girl need an FBI escort? Of course, you should always get people home safe in Ubers, but an FBI SWAT team escort? Patel's girlfriend asked FBI agents on her security team at least 2 times, including once this spring, to drive her friend home. And agents objected to diverting from their assignment, said the sources, who were granted anonymity to discuss non-public matters. But Patel insisted they do, as Wilkins requested, and in one case called the leaders of Wilkins' security detail and yelled at him to do so. Yelled at him to take home this girl. What an awkward, weird situation. Is this like a party house, or is this the government that we're talking about? News of the effort to deploy agents to provide security for private citizens has spread through the Bureau and beyond, and agents have grown increasingly concerned by his use of the strapped resources. Well, if it makes you feel any better, FBI agents, at least the FBI director is going on coked up Don Jr.'s podcast while Don Jr.'s eyes are all red, and Kash Patel is spreading conspiracy theories about one of the largest attacks on our democracy to ever exist. So Don Jr. says, it's almost like the pipe bombs were the backup plan if they didn't get what they wanted out of J6, which seemed to me a very clear setup What? First of all, the pipe bombs were placed by a Trump supporter. Second of all, January 6th happened because of Donald Trump, because he spread election fraud lies, because he said the election was stolen. If Donald Trump never made up the election fraud claims, the Capitol never would have been stormed, the peaceful transfer of power never would have been disrupted for the first time in American history for 12 hours, 14 hours it was delayed. It's disgusting that Kash Patel is spreading these theories. Let's take a look at this. Make sure you drop a like and make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed below. Also, I will be on CNN tonight debating these topics at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. It's going to be a good panel. Be there for Abby's show. It'll be fun. Let's watch this clip.
It's January 6th, 2020. But, I never understood how this could just disappear. I mean, 2 pipe bombs targeting the headquarters of the Republican Party, targeting the headquarters of the Democrat Party. I can understand maybe the media ignoring targets on the Republicans because, again, their silence is golden and they only report on that. But, I mean, that to me is a far greater threat than any of the nonsense, a grandma taking a selfie inside of January 6th. And yet it just disappeared. It's almost like that was the backup plan if they didn't get what they wanted out of January 6th, which to me seems like a very clear setup operation.
And look, you're absolutely right. Thanks to President Trump's sweeping victory and mandate for accountability across all sectors of law enforcement, especially those that harm Washington, D.C. and our elected leadership and American lives visiting our nation's capital, we just went at it with the same approach that we go after every single case this FBI handles. No resource will be spared. No agent or analyst or staff support will be spared. These guys work.
It sounds like Kash Patel's reading this off a script, first of all. He's just not that impressive on camera. And honestly, that's more of a personal dig aside from his leadership, because his leadership is awful. He's a terrible leader. But He's not that captivating. It sounds like he was just reading something off there. But even beyond that, beyond him not being a captivating person, there's no fucking shot. Don Jr. is spreading lies about January 6th, and our FBI director is saying, you're absolutely right. Don Jr.'s dad stoked January 6th, and if we look at the transcript of this, Don Jr. is essentially saying January 6th seems like a very clear setup operation. By who? The FBI was Trump's FBI. The DOJ at the time was Trump's DOJ. This was all people that Donald Trump had appointed. Who is setting this up? And by the way, I still don't get what the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC headquarters have to do with interrupting the peaceful transfer of power. The only goal of the people on January 6th was to stop the peaceful transfer of power and get Trump in office. If anything, the pipe bombs would have actually helped stop the peaceful transfer of power, so the pipe bombs would have helped Donald Trump. That is why he is a Trump supporter. The man charged with planting 2 pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the J6 Capitol riot told the FBI he believed the 2020 election was stolen. Brian Cole Jr., 30, of Virginia, was arrested on Thursday and is now speaking with the FBI. Isn't it kind of crazy that he committed this crime 5 years ago when he was 25 years old, and now he's 30, and now he's facing the consequences? What a dumbass. I'm glad they caught him. People briefed on the matter told CNN that he's speaking with the FBI and that he believed conspiracy theories about the election. Federal prosecutors charged Cole with transporting explosive materials across state lines and attempting to destroy a building with explosives. He is scheduled to appear in D.C. federal court on Friday afternoon and has not yet entered a plea. There is another clip of Don Jr. and Kash Patel talking about how this administration has done more than any other to protect children who are being human trafficked. Okay, on one hand, I'm glad that the FBI is doing work to minimize child trafficking. They've been doing that for decades. That's a good thing. But this is the same FBI that has not released the Epstein files. This is the same Kash Patel, the same Donald Trump Jr. who have rolled their eyes and asked, are you still talking about this Jeffrey Epstein figure? The same Donald Trump who was downplayed time and time again the tragedy of the survivors, the Epstein survivors. Don Jr. comes on his Cokehead podcast and thinks that he can basically, I'm just looking at this guy's eyes, dude. He thinks that he can muddy the waters on these things. You can't. If you don't release the Epstein files, we're going to continue talking about that. Every single time Kash Patel or Don Jr. or Donald Trump brag about saving this many kids, ask them where the thousands of Epstein files are. Because the way they act and the way they treat this case is incongruent with how they speak about child sex trafficking. It's kind of like when they say they're trying to prevent drugs from coming in the U.S. by bombing these ships. And then Trump pardons the former president of Honduras who had helped traffic 500 kilos of cocaine into the U.S. How are you going to say you're against something, but then you create the permission structures for this exact thing to happen? Take a listen.
Our work on violent crimes against children is historic. We have found, identified, and discovered 6,000 children this year alone. That's up 30%. We have dismantled human trafficking organizations looking to enslave our children. That is up 14%. And we have also, this may be one of the most proud stats when it comes to protecting our youth, especially online, nihilistic violent extremist networks like 764, preying and mutilating children and causing them to commit suicide online and things like animal crushing. Our arrest in that category is up 590%.
Okay, there's a quick fact check right here. It says the vast majority of the cases he's citing were children who were kidnapped by a non-custodial parent, like a parent that doesn't have custodial rights, and then were returned to the custodial parent in less than 24 hours, which is still kidnapping. That is still awful. But the way Kash Patel tries to frame it is if they're out there leading a task force to take out every single pedophile. Dude, you guys are the ones protecting the pedophiles. You're not leading any task force. You're making sure that your FBI agents are taking your drunk girlfriend's friends home. It's all so despicable. It's all such an abuse of government funds. Homie, if you go out and you want your girl to get home safe or your girlfriend to get home safe, Uber her home or don't drink that night. There's so many different ways you can do this without using a SWAT team and a private governmental jet. I'm going to leave it there. If you appreciate the videos we make on the Adam Mockler channel, drop a like, subscribe, be there tonight for CNN. I love you all, and peace out.